As Captain Marvel soars into theaters, not only will fans be eager to learn her origins and place in the MCU, but we are all curious about how her story ties into the next Avengers movie, ENDGAME. Well, thanks to a pretty revealing post-credit scene, we can now connect the dots, follow Captain Marvel's journey, and see how she becomes involved with the Avengers in ENDGAME. And before we get into it, there will be major Captain Marvel spoilers ahead. Consider yourself warned. Just when you thought pagers were out of style, a forgotten fad, or a simple relic from the 90s, the small communication devices seem to be all anyone's talking about these days, or at least when it comes to the MCU. Our first introduction to the infamous pager was during the mid-credit scene in Avengers Infinity War. As the decimation takes place, Nick Fury pulls out a pager, activates it, and we see Captain Marvel's logo on it as he turns to dust. For months, fans have wondered how the pager could tie into the Captain Marvel movie, especially since the film takes place in the 1990s as opposed to modern day. Well, Captain Marvel gives us plenty of answers and even showcases what may have happened to the pager after the decimation takes place. But first, let's see the pager's journey in Captain Marvel. In the newest MCU movie, Samuel L. Jackson's character Nick Fury works for S.H.I.E.L.D. More optimistic and without his signature eye patch, the character is assigned to the Carol Danvers case after she crashes into a blockbuster video in the year 1996. To communicate with other S.H.I.E.L.D. members like Agent Phil Coulson, Fury uses a pretty basic pager, sending primitive versions of text messages, especially compared to text today. We see the pager multiple times throughout the Captain Marvel movie, and Carol even questions Fury about the device. And we also get a lot of laughs about the pager as Fury tries to cover up his tracks while trying to ensure Carol cannot get away again. At the end of the movie, Carol gives Fury his pager back, this time with some upgrades programmed into it. And considering how many years he has the pager for, we can only hope it's some type of Kree-powered battery, or something like that to ensure the thing doesn't die on him. The new look and design of the pager is reminiscent of the same one we saw at the end of Avengers Infinity War. Using some advanced Kree technology, Carol was the one who allowed the pager to contact her directly and whenever Fury needed her. Through the events of the movie, these two clearly became close, forming a bond with each other and creating a lot of trust, especially when Carol has so much doubt and distrust in her life, which you can't really blame her for, since she only has flashes of memories from her time on Earth. The pager technology also clearly has the ability to connect with Captain Marvel through the far reaches of outer space. Signals are obviously made stronger, and while they may take a while to arrive, Fury has direct access to Captain Marvel anytime he needs. So one of the main questions you may be asking is, why didn't he use the pager sooner? Well, through the Avengers Initiative, it was pretty clear he didn't need her right away. The call to Captain Marvel would be the ultimate last resort. Just look at the roster of heroes he's had over the years. Captain America, Iron Man, Thor, the Hulk, Black Widow. New additions like Black Panther, Spider-Man, and Ant-Man has only made the availability of these heroes even stronger. Even when going up against threats like Ultron or Loki, the Avengers more than held their own enough to avoid the call to Captain Marvel. So when people start turning to dust and there's a major worldwide crisis on our hands, we finally see Nick Fury pull out the trusty pager and signal for help to Captain Marvel. And this is where the Captain Marvel mid-credit scene comes in. The scene itself seems to be pulled directly from some of the clips we saw in the trailer. Captain America, still with his beard intact, sits in a room, clearly impacted by the decimation event. The holograms float by, indicating some of our missing heroes. The other surviving Avengers are there with Captain America, including Black Widow, Bruce Banner, and Rhodes. Their topic of conversation? The pager Fury left behind as he turned to dust. We aren't exactly sure how much time has passed, but the characters indicate the signal has been sent out for a while, with no results thus far. This leaves us with a number of other questions. How did they get the pager amongst all the chaos and events happening on the streets? Was there a GPS signal to contact characters like Phil Coulson about the pager? We have to assume that somebody thought the device was important enough to deliver to the Avengers. It would be a pretty big coincidence if Bruce Banner just stumbled upon it while walking down the street. Either way, the device is now in the possession of the Avengers, and seems to be one of their only last hopes in saving the world. Steve Rogers makes the call, despite having no answers, and they decide to turn the pager on again. This device turns out to be the key to connecting everything from Infinity War, Captain Marvel, and the upcoming ENDGAME. Not only do we get to see the Captain Marvel symbol appear on the pager again, but we get our first glimpse of the hero in modern times as she shows up to meet with the Avengers. After being separated from them for so long, it actually feels a little surreal to see the MCU's newest hero standing among the others. Captain Marvel apparently has no clue what's happened on Earth in the past couple of decades, or who the Avengers are at all.
Sort of like a team. Earth's mightiest heroes type thing.
And we don't get many answers either. We'll have to wait for Endgame for that. Carol keeps things short and sweet. She has one question: where's Fury? Once again, we're left with another big tease for Endgame and a lot of potential questions along the way. First of all, where has Carol been all this time? Things were left kind of up in the air at the end of Captain Marvel. Is she helping the Skrull race escape the Krees? Is she trying to discover more about her past? Or is she traveling around the galaxy discovering the full potential of her powers? Either way, just by the brief look and question to the Avengers, one thing is clear. She has no clue who they are, and Nick Fury probably hasn't contacted her since way back in 1996. Thanks to her memory loss, she probably wouldn't even know who Captain America was, or have memories of the hype and history he had before being frozen alive. Memory loss sure does help add new characters and set stories in the 1990s without creating too many plot holes. And while Carol may be in direct contact with the Avengers now, we imagine things will not go smoothly in forming a team with them. This is a classic story arc used throughout many of the Avengers films. In the first Avengers, Thor, Captain America, and Iron Man all battled each other before earning trust and working as a team. In the Avengers Age of Ultron, the Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver work on the side of Hydra before seeing their wrongdoing and joining up with the Avengers to stop Ultron. In Captain America Civil War, the whole film is focused on heroes taking sides and fighting against each other in a battle of right and wrong. And then in Avengers Infinity War, the Guardians of the Galaxy have a bit of a tough time fitting in with the others, especially Star-Lord. These themes all tie into one issue: trust. And with lost memories, betrayal by others, and the skin-shifting Skrull race, Carol and her own trust issues go a long way back. For her, looking at the facts is simple. Fury has a pager to contact Captain Marvel in case of emergencies. The pager went off and she shows up, only to find a group of shady characters in possession of that pager. Seems a little suspicious to us as well. And we know the Avengers are the good guys. We imagine it'll take a lot more than a brief conversation to get Carol on their side. And even though they are grieving the loss of their friends, the Avengers may find themselves battling with Captain Marvel before they know it. After seeing how convincingly the Skrulls can change their bodies and transform into a citizen on Earth, she could be suspicious about all of these heroes. Either way, there will definitely be a lot of convincing to do. Can you imagine seeing Danvers punch Black Widow in the face just like she punched the old lady on the bus? It would be an epic moment and a great showcase of powers as the other Avengers step in to stop the chaos. And while Captain Marvel may join the fight to help save Earth, Nick Fury's dusting may be her sole motivation. The bond between Fury and Danvers is still incredibly strong, and using that personal connection will help her become even more emotionally invested in the story. As she learns about the decimation, we may find out about other close contacts Danvers is concerned about. In Captain Marvel, we meet Maria, one of Carol's close friends from the Air Force. Carol reconnects with her in 1996, 6 years after she's gone missing and presumed dead. We also meet Maria's daughter, Monica, who refers to her as Auntie Carol. The connection to Maria and Monica could have a direct impact on Endgame. As Carol learns the details about Thanos' actions and the decimation, one of her first questions may be whether they survived or not. This could be the catalyst for her journey. Whether they are or not will also have an impact on her motivation to fight alongside the Avengers and help with the cause. And thanks to some other movie trailers, we can only imagine Captain Marvel and Nick Fury will connect again in the future. The Spider-Man Far From Home trailer features Nick Fury, seemingly playing the same role of mentor as Tony Stark did in Spider-Man Homecoming. In one of the key scenes, Fury shows up in the darkness, a callback to the many other times he's done just that. All signs are pointing to the events of the film taking place after Endgame, so once again, Nick Fury has found a way to escape death, even if he just has one good eye in the process. So if Fury does appear in Spider-Man Far From Home, somehow he returns after the decimation, but is once again not using his trusty pager to get Spidey some help in his battle against the elementals. And it makes sense, because he put it off for so long before, there's no reason to get trigger happy and reach out for every single crisis. And while Fury and Carol are tight, we cannot forget about his other right-hand man, or woman in this case. Agent Maria Hill has been by Fury's side for multiple movies, and also appeared in multiple episodes of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. She dusted alongside Fury during Infinity War, and she also appears in Spider-Man Far From Home. We have to wonder the stories Fury has told her of Carol Danvers, if she's seen her files, or if there will be any contention between the characters when or if they meet. Not many people get close with the elusive Nick Fury, and having two strong-willed females by his side could prove to be a little too much. Or maybe there won't be any drama at all. Who knows? So in the end, the connection between the pager in Infinity War, Captain Marvel, and Endgame has been made pretty clear. What initially looked like a fun Easter egg to help hype up the Captain Marvel movie turned into a pretty important element for bringing Captain Marvel and the Avengers together. Our only hope is that the actions Thanos caused are able to get changed or reversed somehow, allowing Nick Fury to reunite with Carol and share some scenes together. Their journey in Captain Marvel will be fresh on everyone's mind, and having them have some scenes together in Endgame